No, you might call it the fans, but they're doing passes, but you come with the fans. He's there,
Was that?
I did fart. No, I did not fart.
I mean, I was just shocked by this guy.
If I farted, I would say, you know, I would say. It's not your channel. What
Obviously, Serena says and that, featuring man like Sam, Big
that was at the back.
man like Boss Polly, they got Big Man O's.
Hi guys!
Wow, you're late. Welcome back to my channel, guys. And today I have with me
Samuel.
Bully. And Ola.
And today we're going to be doing letters to my little brother. Guys, it's really hot and possible, by the way, so that's why we have fun.
No, we just
And then envelopes
right now.
So fun access, but I'm going to ask about everyone's past life. We're going to share each other's lives.
What do you mean?
You're
You're not telling me that.
What did she say?
surprise! No, you're not in, not full details, just like a brief. Your past life, just summarize your past 20.
What does that mean?
Because it's called letters to my brother, therefore, we need to advise someone, you have to say your past, your
This is
future,
what's
your
There should have been a disclaimer or something.
The picture really disclaimer. I think you didn't sign any contract. That's alright.
just a brief, like,
We'll start from there.
just
We'll start from that side.
So yeah, start from this side. Youngest first, isn't it?
Oh yeah. So what do you want? Like, what do you
your
want?
past, that's something with past life.
Somewhere in my past life.
Yeah.
Alright, so basically, I was born in 1997. Did you not say past life?
Come on.
So basically, I was born. So that 2 parents and a sister.
Oh my god! You
No, but I'm telling you my past life.
Two persons.
That's definitely your kind of life.
So basically, yeah. So I was born, yeah.
I was 997, yeah. You know, bro.
Okay, so I was born. I was brought up in South London. I lived there for 4 years. Then I moved to East London. I went to primary school in East London. Yeah, in primary school, I was just there. I was quite a loud person when I was younger. Used to have a lot of friends.
used to? What was them?
Some of them had to get
When I was 12. And yeah, that's it. I had a family and I was alive. And thank God, so I'm here.
Who said you didn't have a family?
Same marriage.
Fam, like, do you know how broad this question is? I don't know what you're asking.
So let me break it down then.
Break it
About
down,
You have to break it down.
when I say your past life, we're trying to advise
What you
people now.
changed, yeah.
So I'm trying to say, try to relate to people out there watching you guys. So what, I'm not saying the bad things you did, but like, things like people you don't allow your younger brother to do.
If we're gonna say that, then there's actually I have to go deep. Like that's the only thing. Like as I said, so I wasn't a bad child. So I didn't choose to go on with life. Then basically, okay, interesting. Okay, so I used to have a problem. Okay, I used to have a problem with lying. So I used to lie a lot. So it was one of those things. Literally everything. And the thing that I was one good storyteller. Like literally, they'll ask me something, I'll just be able to lie. But I don't know I was lying. And I was just a lie. Because I don't still want to get in trouble or whatever. But I wasn't lying for like big things. I was lying for small things. And I don't know why I would do that. So I say that's the main thing about my past life. And then in my past life, obviously, I had a struggle. I had a big struggle. So my struggle was porn, basically, and it's something that I had from quite, I want to say, like when I was 12, and that's something that I struggled with. And then that's something I kind of relied on and stuff. But then literally over time, that thing just broke down, and yeah, that was basically my past life, and here I am today. So.
Oh wow.
Sorry, okay. You haven't answered that question. That was not a shock.
I was in the shock, like, I wasn't expecting that. Like, I wasn't expecting it, yeah.
This one that journals.
Yeah, for me.
Sorry, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, for me, I was just a naughty boy when I was a kid, man. I used to go out and play football, come home dirty when I was younger. Friends would shout at me, but somehow I still got to work for Nita's boy when I was a
You
kid.
still got what?
I worked for Nita's boy.
Really?
That was my only award, nothing academic. Like, academic wise, I did not care. They said, Bulu got advice, I'll be sleeping, man. Moved over to England, that was back in Nigeria. Moved over to England and then, yeah, I was just so into sport. I was 12. And then I was so into sport, like, just wanted to play football, do athletics. And then one of my friends actually, he was a very good athlete. And took me along with him and I started training. So all my life, when I was from high school to end of college, was based on doing athletics, playing football, blah 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 blah. And then on the weekends, I would go with my friends. And then came to uni, and then all of a sudden, stop athletics, stop doing sport, started going out. I had a bit of a wild life in my first year. I became that little mate that was lost in a big pot of steel. And then I was lost in the sauce basically.
Saturated meat.
Oh God, guys.
And then yeah, and all of a sudden.
Wait, guys, if you say saturated meats.
That was what he said. Mommy, continue. Sorry. Close to the small meat will take up the.
So yeah,
juicy.
I can't do this. So yeah. And then yeah, all of a sudden, those ones were I mean, back then, my friends used to say, "Oh, Buddha, let's go." I mean, it was I never had bad friends. All my friends were always quite cool and quite, you know, reserved, and they were all quite good people. So it wasn't because of bad friends or anything. I thought that I just kind of I don't know what happened. I just became silly, basically. And then all of a sudden, you know, it was one of those ones where people used to just say, "Oh, I'm not going to church, I'm not going to Bible study." Just wait on that family, Then all of a sudden, one day, yeah, God took over, and then before I know it, even going out for me doesn't even get better in my ears, and like I just do whatever God wants. Basically, that's it.
Martin?
Yeah.
Alright guys, so yeah, I'm 29, I'm an investment banker.
This is like 29 and investment banking.
Yeah, working for JP Morgan.
She's still in school.
Lines are simple.
Hands up.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm Ebenezer. Where should I start? So, my dad is a pastor, and I've always grown up with that kind of identity as the pastor's child and the pastor's son. And it wasn't really an identity that I really liked, because when I would go to school, people would be like, "Oh, pastor's son, oh, church boy, oh, da 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 da." So it made it very hard for me to fit in. And I was always the kind of person that I liked having friends around me. I liked having people that I can joke around with and be around with. But because of that identity, and just because of, I don't know, people just didn't really like me like that. So it was very difficult me growing up, to the point whereby I was always trying my best to make friends in any kind of way that I could. So coming onto uni now, I've grown up with this identity that, okay, do you know what, I don't like church, I don't really have a relationship with God, I don't really have, and I'm just trying to make friends and I'm just trying to have fun and do life and start a new life in a sense. So come to uni, going out, parties, drinking, smoking, drugs, everything. That happened for what? First year, intensely. Second year, I started to slow down. Like even now, I still struggle with things, but the main things that used to hold me are now gone. So yeah, that's my past life.
That is actually,
Wow.
I would never have imagined.
What
That
happened?
Ebenezer, never.
And I was shocked when he told me as well. I was just like,
No, I'm actually
I thought it was bad.
I'm done.
Like,
I'm actually
my guy.
That's just it.
No,
Do you want to know?
No what? Weed.
what type of drugs?
Wait, did you?
Class A or class B?
I went class B.
What's class B?
So like, ecstasy.
What's that bad? What's class B?
Did you do that?
Yeah.
Wait, what's class B? What's class B? Guys, what is class B?
Eddie?
I'm going to everybody's ignoring my question.
It was the white people, the black people.
Who were your associates?
It was not Emmanuel.
Yeah, one by
It was
one.
not Emmanuel.
Listen, I'm not. This is my
Class
story.
B is Class A drugs. Class B is codeine, cannabis,
Yeah.
nothing. things. Yeah, I can't say that.
I'm gonna start reviving this.
Honestly, praise God.
Somebody.
That's fact.
We thank the Lord Jesus. I have been song for years describes.
Hey,
Let me change this song. Let me change the song real quick.
Past life.
Codeine diet.
Katie diet.
It's a big
And they played a song for your life. We all get past life.
Shut up, Willie.
This is done.
Alright, let's let me put up his past. That's his
Oh
past.
my gosh.
Nah, man, that's the past, man.
That's
It is what it is, yeah.
That is the
That's
wait,
say.
He is saints fan holy now.
it's a funny thing. University will change your life. Like,
Definitely.
it's to change it in and out and inward and outward. Anyhow, university.
Uni will change your life.
Uni will change your life. But I hope it doesn't change your life for a bad, changes for good. Like, moving on, Sam.
Okay. My heart is pumping. Okay, let's start from secondary school. So going to secondary school, I'm also a pastor's child, but I didn't tell people I was a pastor's child because I didn't want to be identified with that. In the sense of I didn't want people to hold me to a standard, which I wasn't. I didn't want people to judge me for everything I did because I was literally a class clown. Like I would actually go to class just to distract people and just to mess about.
I can see
Like,
that.
honestly, I actually just played in class. I was the type of teacher who told students to F off, shut up. Like it was ridiculous.
Honestly, I'm not
mouth.
surprised.
Like I had a massive
Nah,
mouth.
I
for
was
me.
very
And my mouth got me into a lot of fist fights as well. I got into loads of fist fights with just anyone, to be honest. Because I was bullied. But it was a case of I didn't allow people to just bully me. I would always say something as well. So anytime I said something, it would just get me in trouble and it would just get me into fights. But yeah, I wasn't the most popular in school. So obviously there's still wounds from that up till now. And now the way it affects me is more, if someone wants to confront me, I'm not the type to give confrontation an audience, if that makes sense. So I don't want to get to a point where I have to fight you and smack you in the face. Anyway, sanctified and holy. So, coming into, I actually received God into my life at a very, very young age, funny enough. It was actually around year 8 or year 9-ish, which for me was like, well, compared to everyone else in my church, because all the youth at that time in my church, God wasn't really a thing for us. You just come to church, normal practice, go back to school, do your own damn thing, basically. So when I received God and I started speaking in tongues at such a young age, it was quite a shocking thing. But I would always go back to school and just do my own thing, go back to school, live my best life. and just do whatever I wanted to do. Being at home, I was quite restricted actually, because my parents, I love my parents, they are so disciplined. They don't allow, and because they're full-time pastors, they don't actually work. So whenever you come home, I was one of those children who had to go straight home. I couldn't gallivant in school because my parents were at work. So I had to always go straight home, so it kind of limited me a little bit from what I could do. So coming into uni, like, I got the best advice from home. Everyone said, like, Sam, keep your eyes on God, keep trusting in God. And I came into uni wanting God in the sense of I wanted him because it felt safe, in the sense of that's what I've grown up with, and it's always what always kind of just like it's been there, so I can't like get rid of God. So I was like, I'm still going to go to church, I'm still going to maybe read my Bible here and there, and that was that. So I come into uni, bearing in mind, like all this time I'm still struggling with sexual sins, still struggling with masturbation and porn and all of that. So there's a lot of pain that I'm bringing into university. So coming to university, I lived with very, very lovely girls. They were all white girls, very lovely girls. I love them so. I don't understand why you're laughing. Very lovely girls. But literally, as in the car as my parents were driving me, I said, I'm drinking alcohol tonight because it would be my first time. So I was like, I'm doing everything today. So literally, I got to Halls, and I was the first one to arrive. So I was like, Lord. So I did a little prayer saying, God, like, you're in control. One of those fake prayers where you know you're still gonna do it. And you're praying. So once all my housemates arrived, we started going out. I got into heavy drinking, clubbing, living up in the club, doing whatever I wanted, basically, and just doing the most, really and truly. But coming into second year, going into third year, and growing up a little bit, I kind of got to a point where I was just like, if I want to believe in God, I need to believe God for myself, if that makes sense. It can't be based on what my parents have told me, it can't be based on what any external factor I have done. It has to be my choice, it has to be something I need to seek out for myself, basically. And coming into contact with some very lovely people in my second year of university actually helps me with that, and it has helped me grow into the person I am today. And every day I'm still learning about the grace of God and the love of God, and how I can never, ever, ever, because the life I live now, I can never, ever take credit for that, because it's just not me, full stop. It's literally all about the grace and the love of God that I'm able to still stand, that I'm able to still overcome anything that may come my way at any time. So that's the only thing I'm clinging on to right now.
Jeez, I like that. Love that.
Love that.
No surprise. What's next?
So basically, you guys already answered some of my questions. Even though I didn't answer second point, you guys answered the shot. You guys already answered it. So the past and the now, you already answered it. So So what would you tell your future self?
Me? Oh.
You can start.
Wait, what do you mean?
What would you tell your future self?
Future
So
self?
where I am right now, what would I tell myself in the future?
No, sorry.
No, who that time I passed?
What she's trying to say is like, just imagine, for example now, you're starting again.
Yeah, what would you tell your future self?
Oh, so if I was starting again.
Yeah.
So what would you tell your younger self?
So what would I tell my past?
Yeah.
What would you tell your son, basically?
We'll get your brother then.
The little brother.
You're going to
Go
your
to
son. No, we're going to you. Just growing up in general.
Okay.
It's a good question.
What would I tell Minnie?
Basically.
That's why it's down. That's what we get to.
I'll go first. For me, I mean, when everything went left when I first came to uni, basically. So when I was a bit younger, I was living with my parents, they trusted me anyway. Like I remember, even when I was 16, if I told them I'm going out, they will know for a fact. I think my parents knew that I used to drink, but they know that I wouldn't get drunk, that I would be walking, be stupid on the street. Like I was always the sensible one out of my friends back at home. That even the parents they say, "Oh yeah, bully, you're the sensible one. Look after other one."
But let's be honest.
And then I'm being serious. I'm genuinely serious.
But I know. Without them, they don't know now. Let's be honest. So
But I'm trying to, I was actually quite sensible.
What, so you didn't get drunk?
Huh?
So you've never been that person?
Drunk, dude.
Not like I'm crawling on the floor.
Oh no, I've never been like that. That's
That's
despicable.
what I'm trying to say. I've done that once.
Wait, guys, Abby has been like
Every
that.
white girl wasted. See, I only got happy. That's it.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Good enough to make me dance.
Yeah.
Dance. I was never calling on the floor.
So
I'm the kind of guy that if you go out with me, you're having a good time.
Hallelujah.
My
No.
It's lit. It's the kind of guy that will actually force drinks out your mouth. You know what I mean? So jarring.
So
Guys, don't change people in the Lord Jesus. Thank
And
you.
then and then I came to uni. You know, I had I was always kind of free. Yeah, I was always kind of free anyway. So I felt like when my parents trusted me, I knew not to pass the bar because I wasn't always like locked up. I was just saying I'm going out, I'll just go out on that. That's it. And then I came to uni, and then all of a sudden I just stopped focusing on sport, and then before you know it, twice a week. I remember for my birthday when I was going to uni, I went out 5 times. Like,
My birthday was peak.
I went out 5 times. Like I couldn't even feel my face at some point. Like just, yeah, and then
Face, you know what I mean?
yeah, like fun. I'll go to lectures. I'll just be there like that.
Flip.
I wasn't listening to lectures.
Yeah, but what?
And
You
then-
know what exactly caused that? Like, what exactly?
That's what I'm saying. To be honest,
It's
I felt like
uni. It's the
no,
spirits
I feel, it's because I stopped doing sport. Because when I was back then, I used to do sport and I
So
started
you're actually
races on
busy
the
doing
weekend.
something, okay.
So I know for a fact that I'm not going to go and drink and I'm racing the next day. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
So that was what kept my discipline. I felt like if I didn't do that, this is what I'm saying, God was always on my side. Because if I was done that from when I was young, I wouldn't have even come to uni. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I wouldn't have even come to uni. And then when I finally got to uni, I now lost that identity. You know what I'm trying to say? And then I was reckless. I was just like, I mean, I never really did drugs, but people around me were doing drugs. But it was one of those ones where they would look and say, "Oh, bully man, nah. I'll never let you touch it. I'll never let you touch it. But I'll give you alcohol." Do you get it? So I was like that, and then yeah, and then all of a sudden, God took over. The way God even told me to stop, it was keep up. That was it.
So what advice would you give?
That's a testimony for a different day, guys.
Huh? And my advice is, to be honest, because I started quite late being good in uni. I started my 3rd year, if that makes sense. So I would advise them to find a Christian society, you know, from the get-go. Because I feel like if I had that from the get-go, yeah, I wouldn't have lost my identity like that, if that makes sense.
I feel like the thing with Christian societies, the reason why people don't join because you don't know where people are coming from. That's the first thing. Even if you don't join a Christian society at the beginning, find something to do, something that's not bad. Join societies, like, because I know how I say in Christian society, people come from like a different kind of background. You kind of throw them into Christianity. You can still join Christian afterwards, but make sure you find something to do. Because trust me, you have so much free time in uni, and someone like me now, I just sleep. That's what I'll do.
Wow.
Free time, sleep, sleep. But just find something to do during your free time. But yeah. So yeah, who's next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
So this is something that I would say to my younger self, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Get your identity right.
Okay.
In the sense that I know my downfall came because I didn't know who I was. I didn't really identify myself. So whatever anybody else was doing, I would go with that. So if people were doing this, I was there. If people were doing that, I was there. And that came from the fact that I wanted to be accepted by so many different people instead of trying to be accepted by the one person that really mattered. And that was God. When I came to realize that I am a child of God, that I am who He says I am, not who anybody else says I am, it changed so much in my heart and so much in my mind that I no longer cared for what other people were doing. Rather, I was more focused on what He wanted me to do. Even in your younger years when you're at school, and even when you're growing up, I feel like it's so important that you know who God says you are, so that you don't just go left with what everybody else is doing. You don't just get blown away with the wind. Do you get what I mean? Trends come and go. Things come into fashion, but you and God remain the same. That's your relationship. And another thing, never try to compare that relationship to anything else, because it's individual, it's personal, it's something that comes from within. Nobody else knows what you're seeing, nobody else knows what you're feeling, and nobody else knows what's going on. But at the same time, never think that you're alone in what you're doing, because there's a community around you that's going through the exact same thing. Yeah, just remember that you're not the only person going through what you're going through. There's so many other boys, there's so many other, even girls that are struggling with the same exact things that you're doing. But it's so important that you put yourself in an environment and you put yourself in a community that can help you with those things. Not just play on it, not just facilitate and not just take you to the wrong places, but guide you where you actually need to go. And that's where that Christian community is so important. You know, be open to talk to people, be open to talk to your brothers and your sisters, be open to talk to your parents, be open to talk to your uncles and your aunties. Don't just rely on your friends. You know, don't just look at what they're doing and think that that's the same kind of life that you need to live. Remember, your life is different. You know, you are set apart. You know, you are chosen for something that nobody else can do, and I need you to remember that. Okay, because that will take you on. Also, pattern up for that. You know, brush your hair, fix. Brush your hair. That blush is too long.
Stop playing games. Some people, yeah, like when they're going through stress, yeah, you can see it all over them. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Always try and look good, freshen up. You can't be looking like that.
At the same time, don't just try to hide it on the physical level.
Exactly.
Because some people, sometimes you can, you know, it's good to look nice, but what's going really on the inside? Do you get what I mean? If something's going on the inside, let it out. Let people know. You know, don't suffer in silence. It's so important.
Makes sense.
But at the same time, fix up.
I would say speak to your parents and speak to adults.
Definitely.
Or find really close older people that you can speak to. I know obviously at that young age we really don't give a damn about speaking to our parents. But if you were to go home and just speak to your parents about everything, I really do feel like my younger self would have been directed a lot more and believed in God a lot more and would have grown up more understanding of God's love and also the love his parents has for him, if that makes sense. So, second point is life happens, okay? Some people are really nice, some people are really mean. You're going to be affected by your environment in one way or form. It's either going to be a negative way or a positive way, but it's just about how you react and how you bounce back from that. But the advice I would give you about that is because you can't change life. Life will always happen whatever it is. But spend time alone. I know it's such an awkward thing to do at a young age, but really just spend time alone. Get to figure out yourself. Get to just love yourself from a young age so that when external factors come in, whether it's positive external factors or negative external factors, you're able to handle that and you're able to tailor it to who you are. Be sure of what you want and be honest with what you want as well. If you want to live your best life, make sure you make that decision and live your best life. I say that because when you live half-heartedly, it's a miserable life. In the sense of you believe in God, which is great, but then every time, because you don't understand the full love of God and you don't understand the full grace of God, every time you choose to mess up, the weight of guilt will rush down on you like a ton of bricks. Do you understand what I mean? So be honest with yourself. Yes, if you love God, I love God, but at the same time, I've been living my best life right now. God, I don't really understand you, but I want to do the most. Don't pretend in front of people. Let people know you for who you are. Don't go to, for example, Bible study and pretend like you're this great and holy person. Let them know from the beginning, no, this is who I am. This is the work that needs to be done. Cool, let's go for it. Do you understand what I mean? People respect. Not another one is in time, people will respect it. What I mean by that is just be yourself. Just be authentically you. Even in the midst, because the thing is, I on my pharmacy course, I'm friends with a lot of like worldly people, if that makes sense. So a lot of the time, going from first year to second year, when I start to believe in God a lot more, I start having that struggle of, oh God, they're convincing me to come out, they're convincing me to drink, where's the middle ground and stuff like that. Don't be afraid to say, no, this is what I stand for, this is what I believe in, whether you like it or not. Do one. I don't give a damn. Do you understand what I mean? And just respect yourself, because when you respect yourself, your friends will eventually respect you and they'll eventually give you respect that is due. And it's quite funny because my friends come up to me now in fourth year and they say like, Ross, I actually respect you. Like all this time, like, you always say no, like you know what you want and stuff. I'm like, yeah, you didn't understand it before because all you wanted to do was have fun. There's other ways to have fun, and I talk about all your friends. No, we don't have to get drunk all the time. We can sit, talk, play games, and just love each other's company without being intoxicated. Do you understand what I mean? There's more to life than being intoxicated. Having a normal conversation with someone at 3 a.m. in the morning is a beautiful thing. Do it, it's fun, trust me. A lot comes out. Okay, find yourself an inner circle at a young age. Find yourself 2 or 3 friends who, like, you tell everything, every little detail. But make sure you observe them first. But from a young age, really find friends. And even if you don't observe them, human beings are very funny people. You can trust them for a long time in your life, and they can go and do a madness to you at a later time. It happens. That is life. But in that time, make sure you have a heart of God that is able to trust people and let people in at a young age. Because when you're able to do that, you'll grow up and you'll find people who are ready to stick with you to the end of your life. So they will just guide you and everything. Because you cannot do it alone. You will never be able to do it alone. You'll flop and then you'll realize later on in the future that you need someone. And then it might be too late. So find someone you can speak to and just like, they know everything about you.
That's a mouthful.
Sorry.
What I'd say to my younger self is that discipline is a sign of love. You don't get told off, or like you don't get told off because your parents or anyone wants to get at you. They literally just care about you. So don't feel like you have to hide the truth from them because you don't want to get in trouble. Because at the end of the day, it's all for your growth. It's not for anything else. So like try and see it from a like that perspective. There's a reason you knew God early, so begin to tap into that. Like, you're gonna always be different, so like act in that differentness basically. I don't know if that's a word, but yeah, act in it. Also, like, don't feel like your validation has to come from people, or don't feel like your validation has to come from what other people are doing, or even has to come from girls. Yes, okay, you might not be looked at how other people are looked at, but at the end of the day, you're called to be different. Like you say, okay, so you would watch this thing, you would watch porn, but what are you getting from it? You don't get anything. Like literally, you're just watching it for banter. Like, what are you doing? Literally, take up time. God has given you talents. Now begin to nurture those talents. Don't just sit on them, because you're basically wasting your talent. There's so many people that can't even do half the things that you do, but you can do them. So begin to use them for the glory of God. And like when you're doing these things, when you're, let's say you do fall, because we're all bound to fall. Don't feel like you can't go back to God. Always go back to God, and find that person or people that you can be open to. Because when you're open, that's where there's freedom. Like, it's hard, it's not easy at all, but you're literally, as Ebenezer said, you're not the only one. There's other people going through these things. God knows you and knows what you're about. So literally just begin to seek Him every single day, and like, He'll just teach you more and more. And again, like, obviously, porn was a big part of like what you think made you up, but don't let it be something that will pull you down. Use it, okay, this is what I came through, so now this is my testimony. And also, like, just the people around you. So let's say they have girlfriends or whatever, or they have people that they're talking to, or they're getting looked at all the time. I'm sorry, that's temporary. Your friends are not even Christian at the end of the day. So begin to get the people that will begin to nurture you. Like, you may be like different or look different, but at the end of the day, God loves you. So use that love that God has given you to show to other people. And just know who you are at the end of the day. It's just about finding your identity. We're all going to be interested in different things at the end of the day, but you know why. And also, the funny thing, it gets better. Like for me, well, you will go through life and you may look like you're not doing anything, but at the end of the day, you'll say, like, okay, God, this makes sense. I know why I didn't do this thing. Just know that God is always looking after you, and He loves you like a lot. And like, just generally, just know who you are, and know that you're not God. Yes, people influence you, but at the end of the day, it's God that's influencing you. So like, just really don't be afraid to step out and just be different, and just know your worth at the end of the day. And like, even in terms of like insecurities and stuff, like, you will overcome them. At the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you, be real, yeah, you will fall, like, we all fall, but it's just how you're gonna act after that. And yeah, and also like, when you're on TV, yeah, don't scroll through all the channels, and don't get to the 9s. Just watch CBBC.
Oh, the 9s, yeah.
We're good at it. So
Friday 10 PM, my mum and dad has had that pounded, yeah.
So literally, just be like, you won't know these things, but just be like watching Netflix.
That's so good, guys.
That was really good.
Like, I feel like it was a bit, I know you guys didn't really know what, you guys just knew the topic, you didn't exactly know what I was asking you on the topic. And I know, like, this is the thing, they give you a brief summary of what happened in the past. I feel like one day everyone will share their testimony and be able to share it like on a very completely. Like, I feel like everyone will get to that point in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. Huh? I'm not trying shit on you, but you know I'm right. But yeah, I feel like, and I really love you guys to actually come back and share your story. So you guys are gonna come back
We're gonna come back.
Future, yeah. And
Really?
so
Oh, that'd be interesting.
it's like, guys,
I'll tell you.
Sammy's graduating, Evie's graduating, he's graduating, it's going third year, guys, and I'm going second year. But yeah, I really, really appreciate it, guys. Like,
That's cool.
sharing your past. Like, this is the people are going to watch this video and people are going to chat the most rubbish. But at the same time,
That's the
when I feel like when people insult other people on the past, because you also have something burning you inside, and you don't want to accept it, if that makes sense. It's just like a bully. Yeah, it's like a bully. If you're bullying someone, it's because you're insecure of yourself. You can't just bully someone for the sake of bullying someone. Like, you have a problem with yourself too. So really, I really appreciated you guys. Like, it really means a lot to me. So guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and comment, and see you next time.
All that, like, share, subscribe, and comment.
All the jazz.